All right, welcome. So I'm going to share my screen right off the bat so we can just kind of start walking through it. Can everyone see that? Give me a thumbs up or yes. Awesome. Perfect. Well, welcome to the Mompreneur Scaling Stack. And don't let the name get you scared. It's mompreneur because that's what I am, right? That's what I relate to. It is for any woman who is working in her business and also has a million things going on at home. That's basically it. So if that is you, then you are in the right spot. I am doing this because I was the system. And when I broke down, so did everything else. So now I teach other women how to build a business that doesn't fall apart even when life does. And you're going to hear a little bit more about my story in a minute. But first, I want to talk about our goals for being here today. So by the end of this masterclass, you will learn three proven systems that will help you simplify your workflow, organize the back end of your business, and take back control of your business. Do you ever feel like you're doing all of the things all of the time? And sometimes your business can feel like it's running you instead of the other way around. So we are going to hop into that today. Why? Because running a business without systems keeps you stuck in survival mode. It makes it harder to grow. It makes it hard to fully show up either in your business or at home. And it makes it hard to feel proud of the work that you're doing because you're not putting in what you know you're capable of, and you're not putting out, and you're not helping and making the impact that you know you're meant to. So that's why we are here. All that you're going to need for this is something to take notes with. My goal is to make this a very, very actionable lesson, hour, 45 minutes, whatever it is. I want you to be able to walk away with something that you can implement. So, something to take notes. And I want you to keep one offer or one service in mind as we're walking through this. And then, of course, give yourself time and space to think strategically. So we can only do so much in the 45 minutes that we have together, but don't worry, afterwards, I will show you how we can reconnect if you need more support after this. So, first of all, let's start off with who is in the house. I want you to go ahead and put in the chat, or you can raise your hand if you want to share. Let me know, what is your name? Who are you and what do you do? How long have you been in business? And what brought you here today? What made you say yes to this invitation? So, does anyone want to unmute and let us know?
I can start.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can, but it's faded. Michelle, can you hear her? Yeah? Okay, cool.
You can hear me? Okay. So my name is Jordan, and I'm actually in the middle of a career change right now. I was working as a therapist and a leadership consultant, and then I decided I want to go in a more creative route. So I'm very premature. I would say I don't yet have a business. I'm sort of in the process of getting it started. And what brought me here today is meeting Crystal through the Mic Drop workshop. And I am very bad at systems and all the things that you do. So I figured it would be good to be aware of some of these things before I start my business so that I can do it in a better way. So
Awesome. Awesome.
looking
Well,
forward
welcome.
to
Thank
it.
you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, my name is Michelle Spexarth, and I am a trauma-informed coach. I have been in business for about 3 years, and what brought me here today is that Crystal is a friend of mine, and her and I have done some other things together. And I was like, you know what? I know that I can learn something from you on this because I have a little bit of some systems going on, but I know that I could use more help. So here I am.
Awesome. Welcome. Welcome. We also have, I see in the chat, we have a couple of comments. So we have Michelle Meza, who is actually my Brand Boss business partner. So welcome, Michelle. She is a certified transformation coach and marketing strategist who has been helping entrepreneurs since 2010. And then we also have Sharon Waka, an economic recovery coordinator for the Menominee Indian tribe of Wisconsin. I apologize for my pronunciations here, Sharon. Since May of 2022, she said a coworker shared the webinar this morning, so she came to find more resources for entrepreneurs. Awesome. Welcome, Sharon. Thank you guys all so much for being here. I think you are each going to get massive value out of this. And if you don't, then I want to hear that feedback as well.
Crystal,
So
I have a question
let's
for
go ahead.
you. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, 100%.
If I wanted to share your recording with my friend, because it seems like I don't think she received my message. Do you think that I could, if she wanted to, could I send her the recording afterward?
Yeah, absolutely. And right after you registered, somebody else did. So if they registered beforehand, they'll automatically get it.
Oh, cool.
Systems.
Love it.
All right, so here we go. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about me and who I am. In case you don't know, I am Crystal Casey. And when COVID hit in 2020, was it really that long ago? 2020? I had a lot going on. I was running an aerial yoga and dance studio, and we were starting to grow. We were making a huge impact in the community, and it was going amazingly. However, we had a lot of things happen at once. COVID hit. I had a newborn baby. I had a business to run, and I really had no real support system. Like I said, I was the system, and I was doing everything from figuring out how to get people to book the classes on the website to figuring out how to find people to put into classes to teaching the classes to doing follow up, literally all of it. And as I was doing it, I was piecing things together, right? I had taken business courses, I had studied, and I had learned things, but nowhere in my business plan did I have my systems laid out. And that was something that I had to go through and kind of figure out and learn on my own. And then in 2021, I became a widow and I was left to raise all five of my kids. And I had to decide what to do with the yoga studio because the amount of hours that I was putting in took me away from home. And I no longer had any support at home. So I had to figure out how to do both or something had to go. So everything collapsed. And um, I closed the studio because thank you. There was no choice for me at that point, right? I was in survival mode. That's all I could do was survive. And I had no systems. So as I started to rebuild, as I started to share my story and I became a published author and I started speaking on podcasts and I started my own podcast, I realized that I was kind of really good at noticing and putting all of these different systems together, not only my own, but helping other people do it as well. So that is me in a nutshell and how I ended up here and helping entrepreneurs just like you. So now I want to start by talking about the reality of burnout. So this is likely where you are right now. My automations are backwards, sorry. So you are probably still doing everything yourself. Your business lives in your brain and it's exhausting, or in notebooks. You're doing client work, admin, content, follow up, repeat. So there are repetitive tasks in your business that you're finding yourself doing over and over that aren't necessarily moving the needle in your business, but they're necessary. And you're spending a lot of late nights just to catch up. This is burnout. This is not sustainable. This is how often entrepreneurs start their business, but it is not going to last, right? Your business cannot last like that, and it definitely cannot scale to grow. So that's what we're going to look at today, because the problem is not that you're not working hard enough. You don't need another planner or super expensive thousands of dollars worth of software or more willpower to just keep going or pushing through. You need sustainable systems. So, system number one, this is where you want to pull out your notebooks and start taking notes. System number one is to systematize your client journey. If you have not done this already, I want you to put yourself into the position of your client, from the starting point of when they find out about you to the completion of your service or interaction with them. What does that look like? So you're going to start by breaking your journey down into 5 different stages. First, contact. When you're first meeting people, where is that? How are they meeting you? Where are you sending them? If you're meeting them in person, or if you're meeting them in a networking group, where are you sending them to? What is their first contact with your service? Okay. The second stage is onboarding. When somebody decides to sign up with you and utilize your services, what does that process look like? Contracts, payments, is there information that you need, certain forms you need to have filled out, appointments that you need to have set? Figure out what that whole thing looks like and write out your process for that. Then stage number 3 is going to be active work. So this is where you're going to set your milestones. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you mind if I take a screenshot of your slide? Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. But also, you're
Okay.
going to receive all of the slides at the end.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. So your active work is going to be delivering whatever your service is. And you're going to write down what that looks like. Okay. Then the fourth, completion, the structured deliverables and feedback collection. So when you have completed your service, you don't want to completely forget about that client and never talk to them or interact with them again, right? So what does that process look like afterwards? And then, sorry, I got to move this little bar. I can't see my screen. Follow up. Yes. So structured deliverables, what needs to be delivered in order for you to consider the project complete. And then the follow-up will be after that. So does that all make sense? Those 5 stages? Awesome. Okay. So then what you want to do is you want to create one reusable, I have message, but it's really a process here for each of those steps, something that is repeatable. And then you want to track it in something like a spreadsheet, a CRM, or even just a Google Doc. And when your client process is clear, then you stop reinventing the wheel and start creating capacity. So that's system number 1. Before I move forward, are there any other questions? Good? Okay, cool, cool, cool. Oops. All right. So system number 2, build a dashboard you can delegate from. So one of the problems that I had with the studio was, even if I had somebody to step in and help me, I had no way of delegating to them the different things that needed to be done within the business. So what you're going to do is you're going to brain dump everything that's in your head, all of the tasks, all of the processes that you need to do, including your client journey that we just walked through. Okay, so that's going to be one thing, but you're going to find there's a bunch of other things that you need to do to run your business. What does your marketing look like? For if somebody needed to take over your blog or your newsletter or your social media or answer your emails, or whatever your business looks like. You know your business best. What does that look like? Get all of those tasks out of your head and onto paper. And then you're going to choose one tool. Okay. So something that I have learned is that there are so many amazing tools out there, you guys. Incredible, vast amounts of tools. It doesn't really matter what you use. What matters is that you use it and that you implement it, that you set up a system and that you continue to utilize that system. So ClickUp is my personal favorite. There's also Trello. Even a Google Sheet would work just fine. Then the next thing that you're going to do is organize your tasks based on your client stages. So everything that we just talked about in step number one, organize your tasks around that. And even if you are completely on your own right now, I want you to think as though you're delegating it to somebody, as though you're ready to hand it over. If you had a VA to step in right now, what would they do? How would they do it? Are you ready to hand that over? Does that make sense? So you have to have something ready to delegate um, to, yeah, the people that you want to help you. So having your dashboard. Any questions here? Awesome, awesome. So dashboards aren't for perfection. They're for visibility, clarity, and future delegation. So keeping that in mind, you cannot scale, you cannot grow if you're doing everything yourself. So if you start planning now to hand over in the future and by systematizing, you're going to be so much better in the long run. And then step number three, or system number three, automate first and then outsource. So a lot of these things that you will find that you're writing down in your brain dump, you're going to find that you're doing over and over and over again. So the first thing that you want to do is spot the pattern. As you're going through all of those tasks that you wrote down, look at processes that you're doing over and over that aren't moving the needle forward in your business, that you don't necessarily need to be handling, and automate what you can. Let tech handle it. So set up your tools for things like scheduling, email campaigns, onboarding, follow up. And then my biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is to create a flow that you don't have to micromanage. Set up some kind of CRM or dashboard that can run in the background so that you can track all of the things. That is going to make it better than having everything everywhere and trying to figure out who goes where in the journey. Yeah, I'm trying not to get too much into it because there's so much and I could literally talk for hours on this. So you want to just set up some kind of system where you can manage all of your leads, people who were interested, who downloaded a lead magnet, who came to a live event, who booked a call with you, who signed up for services, who do you need to follow up with, who haven't you talked to in a long time. Having a way to track all of these, I recommend a CRM. You can also just use something like a worksheet. And then outsource what remains. Delegate anything that only a human can do, anything that drains you, but still requires a personal touch, just not necessarily your personal touch. As the CEO, you should be the visionary. You should be the one seeing where the business is going and then guiding it there. You should be focused on your passion of whatever your business is. Or, like me, spending more time at home. So now it's Q&A time. Are there any questions that came up for you? You can drop them in the chat. You can raise your hand, unmute. There's only a few of us here, so.
Okay, I have a question. So with what I'm one-on-one coaching. And so one thing that came up that I'm looking through other notes that I had for other things was about like a pay link or something like that. What do you like? I typically, sorry for my rooster, have a consult, a free consult first. And then if somebody decides that that it's a good fit and that we're going to work together and stuff, then I'll send something from Square. I'll make an invoice. However, if somebody doesn't feel like they need a consult and they just want to sign up from a webinar or something that I do, what is the flow of that where like, I don't know, what does that look like? Because I don't know.
Yeah, so you're asking if they don't want to do this consult, but they just want to sign up straight away.
Right.
Yeah. So what I would do is I would give the option of both. So there's a couple different ways that you can do that on your landing page or your website. You can say, book a call with me or get started now, like just put a little link under it and then have that go directly to whatever your next step is.
Okay. So I think so in and I don't know any other payment methods other than just Square because that's all I use right now. But I guess I use ConvertKit and they have something where you can do something in there. So I'm glad you said that because I was like, how do you do that in there? But I think I have it set up to where I could do it in there too. So I need to look at that more and see what that looks like because I was just, I mean, I set it up so it's there, it's just sitting
Yeah. So
there. So I
I would
need to,
just connect it and put like insert that link then
okay,
into a couple different places,
okay.
wherever it feels fitting. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. So I have a question for you. I want you to think right now about what you're using to manage your email marketing, your scheduling, your onboarding, and your client follow-ups. Are you using paper systems? That can work, but obviously you can't automate your notebooks. Spreadsheets are also a great choice. They're more flexible, but they require a lot of manual work still, and they can't always connect. They definitely can't connect seamlessly to your processes. And then what I found myself doing, what worked best, was putting together multiple tools, different apps, an app for this, like Calendly for this, and I can't even remember what else I was using, Hootsuite or something like that, MailChimp, all of these different pieces that I was, piecing together, gluing together, duct taping together, if you will. And instead, what I do now is I have an all-in-one system, and this is what I use, and it does everything that you see here on the screen. It handles my email marketing, my appointment scheduling, forms, funnels, automations, the CRM, courses, so it replaces Kajabi, text and email campaigns you can set up in there. You can sell straight through there. It connects to Stripe. Michelle, that would be another payment processor that you could use. It connects to Stripe. Website hosting. So your website would live inside of here. My website, I don't pay for anything extra. Memberships, communities, and then invoicing and payments. Again, I am going to send you these slides, so that you can check it out if you want to. I'm going to try and click on here. Let's see, share this. Okay, so can you guys see my screen? This is Go High Level. This is the software that I use. There is a 14-day free trial. This is our affiliate link, full transparency. So if you use this, we would get a little bit of a kickback, but I only share what I use. And I share this because it's the best, in my opinion. And it can literally do all of these things from the time your client comes to your website or your funnel, it's going to capture their information and then you can put it into whatever kind of a process, a system or a workflow that you need to. You can set up your automations and all of that through closing and delivering your product and services. So I will let you guys look at that and see if I can somehow go back to what I was doing over here. And share screen. And we're back. All right, cool. So that is for my first tip. That's what I do is the software that you use is important. And this is $97 a month. And it includes all of this stuff. And I was paying more than that for like one or two of my other services. So for me, it was like a no-brainer. Even if you don't use this, if you're already using something and you have like things that you're piecing together and it works for you, awesome. If it works, it works. Keep using it. I just like to point this out in case what you're using feels too bulky, it feels too clunky, or you don't know what to use or you're not using anything. So that's what this section is for. And if it feels overwhelming, it doesn't have to be. I offer strategy sessions to help you build these out, your processes, your systems, step by step. So you can book a call with me, and we will have a 15-minute call where you can ask me any questions, anything that you're stuck on. I will help you get unstuck or answer your questions, whatever that is, or exclusively for those who have attended, signed up, received the recording. I am offering a special 90-minute deep dive strategy call where I will help you walk through and set up a plan for all of your systems in all five of those stages. And then you can take that plan and go implement it yourself. You can hand it over to your VA, or we could talk about how I can help you implement it and we can work together that way. So that is my offer to you, my thank you for joining me here today. And um, yeah, for joining me and for being here. And I think this is it. I just want you guys to know you don't need to do it all by yourself. You just need a system that supports you when life gets real. So that's all that I have for you today. Do you guys have any feedback, any questions, anything that I can help you with at this point? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I love your passion. I love that you are there's something like just so calming about you. And when I'm standing at the place where I am, like before even thinking about all these things, like I've been so overwhelmed to even start. So just knowing that you are offering those services, it makes me like, it really gives me peace of mind. And I just I'm just exhaling over here. So
Awesome. Oh, I love that.
yes,
Thank you. Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate you so much.
yeah. And also you look like Winnie from Cheers. I don't know her,
I've heard that before. Thank you.
but okay.
I'll take it. She's gorgeous. All right. Anyone else? Anything else before we hop off here? Okay, perfect. And how did we do on time? 30 minutes? Did they go about 30 minutes? Nice and short and to the point, but lots of information, I hope. Was this valuable? Was it helpful?
Oh, super valuable. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you so much. I will get the recording out to you by the end of the day. And you know how to connect with me if you have any other questions from there.
Thank
Bye, guys.
you.
Thank you.